Welcome back to Zell's adventure, I guess.
Legend of Zell.
Oh.
Yeah, we got rid of the... Wait,
Also,
what happened to the...
he
What happened
cannot
to
be.
the duh?
It cannot be because Zell is the main character.
No. TTT, don't you see? Zell isn't the main character, even though we do play as him occasionally.
Sure.
Okay, aside from.
I mean, to be fair, Zelda is playable in quite a few games.
No,
Anyway.
I'm trying to recall. Aside from Spirit Tracks, so what specific games she was playable?
Hyrule
Warriors ones?
Main ones, I mean.
Well,
One of them's the main one, technically.
Yeah, true. Age of Calamity.
Fair enough. But no, okay. Yeah, I guess, yeah.
I think
sure.
she was sorta, kinda playable in Twilight Princess, technically.
she was just helping you throwing the light arrows in the final boss.
Yeah,
that's about it.
I recall partially in the horseback.
Okay, how does
riding
anyone
section.
stay on this thing without falling off?
Because
Special
Dude,
gravity
at the very least that we were sitting, and remember, in one of the hexagons previously, we were just standing up. It's even worse.
I'm here to see the doctor. Dr. Odine is in a good mood right now. He hasn't been this cheerful in quite a while.
oh, look at that, guys! Dr. Odine is in a good mood. Wow, bless him for granting us the honor of his presence.
Yeah.
Cue the cool clip from season 5 of Samurai Jack. And I care because...
Guess we're supposed to get this.
I wonder if that's supposed to be slight foreshadowing or something?
Well, you see, this is the location that we've been here before with Laguna.
Why is Lunatic Pandora here now? Who is moving that thing?
An absolute madman.
And what?
Pretty much.
And why am I German?
Albanians. They're the ones that salvaged it.
Actually, that's
Us
two.
Albanians-
That's two. Actually.
Well, it says doctor's assistant.
Yeah, but it's the thing with is the future version of the one we've seen in the flashback.
Mm-hmm. It will not attack us. The city is not the target.
I hope so. I hope you're right. Also, what's on my head?
I don't know.
Dome.
But before you find out what's in your head, be sure to find out why exactly am I German. Because that doesn't seem to me any sense. I'm the only one that has a German accent.
Seriously.
Yeah.
So we meet again. This is exciting.
I'm so thrilled right now. What's so exciting about this? This and that about Albania and all.
It's been a long time since I last saw Lunatic Pandora. AKA that big... AKA that...
No right to be talking about lunatics. That... whatever. That big thing? What the hell is that?
Yeah, that big thing that showed up. That's we're gonna learn from what it is.
The huge monolith structure.
What the hell is going on?
Oh, what you say?
Oh, you want to hear my story? That is nice. I would be happy to tell you. Listen
Also,
to my story. It may be your
also-
last chance.
Also, font spacing. Jesus Christ.
I've been investigating the Pandora since it was excavated. So, wait, that thing was underground at some point?
Remember, the ice structure we were on in the second Laguna flashback.
Yeah, true.
He went
Hold
to
on.
the Uncle garage and gave it a service.
Hold on. Is Dr. Odin supposed to have a French accent? Because he's got the
No,
whole Z
German.
thing.
Again.
According to the wiki, it's German. That's the thing. That's what I don't get.
About that.
And I can tell you that it's consistent, at least also for my country's version. So that's
What do you
ideally the way
want?
it's intended.
Huh.
What's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? What do we do?
Zell doesn't
Weird,
care about
because
the
some of-
accent.
It's weird because some of his some of his dialect here seems to suggest a French accent, oddly
The
enough.
enemy's coming, right? And there's no time.
Which is weird because in Dragon Quest VIII and in the Ni no Kuni games, Richard's localizations prove fantastic at making an accent very distinct just via text.
He really did have
maybe,
to
maybe
get
it was
better.
experience.
I guess.
Or, well, not even that, or maybe because it was his first work, he could not
Like,
have much freedom.
like
Where was pressuring on him.
Yeah, to use an example that we haven't played, Teo played the Leighton Brothers, and and that game also does a great job in making. You can literally feel the thickness of the accents just by reading the text. It's so well done.
It's like I said, Richard Mark Honeywood really had a humble beginning by this game. I mean, and
Well, I wouldn't call it humble
game,
considering this is fucking Square Soft.
This is
yeah.
kind of important.
This is a map of the Esta region. Lunatic Pandora's current location is here.
On top of the ocean.
Lunatic Pandora's expected course. This is basically them explaining how the next minigame, or rather set piece, is gonna work. It will undoubtedly pass over the city.
They're gonna body us.
Zoom in map.
Zoom in and it's cliche.
It looks like a giant
Green
spider.
screen, zoom in.
You know what? Actually, it looks like the fairized form boss of Mariana from Fair Fencer F.
It reminds me of Earthbound Element, Earthbound Immortal from Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds.
Lunatic Pandora will head east from the vicinity of this lab toward the shopping mall. The time it
But
will
the
take.
prices aren't great.
The time it will take to cross the city is estimated to be bracket 20 minutes bracket.
And it's red, so it's important.
I wonder what a bracket would equal in minutes.
Boarding Lunatic Pandora is possible at the following 3 contact points, and I know this because we need to explain the play how the hell the set piece works.
Again, it's more of a simulation, idealization of a plan. There
The
you go.
first contact point is at the bracket center of the city bracket.
I can't.
It will arrive there 5 to 8 minutes after it enters the city. Yes?
I'm really trying to think of any other game that has used the whole brackets thing this much.
I can't tell you.
Pokemon sometimes?
This is equivalent to...
Well,
Nah, not nowhere near as much as this game,
sometimes.
too. Nowhere near as much as this
Sometimes,
game. Yeah.
And usually when
That's,
it does
that's
use
the only
brackets, it
example
makes
really I
sense.
can think of, to be honest.
The second contact point is unknown. We believe it is where the 2 skyways cross. So basically,
Oh.
I'm just making shit up as I plan this.
Again, it's an expected simulation, so of course it has to be making shit up.
Lunatic Pandora will arrive there 10 to 15 minutes. That is equivalent to 10 to 5 left on your timer. Since you can't do math, I will do the math for you.
Might as well.
The first contact point is bracket north of the shopping mall bracket.
I've never been to the bracket shopping mall. What about you guys?
It will arrive there 17 minutes after it enters the city.
I've seen some bracket discount prices there, bracket.
That is
I mean,
equivalent.
it's
That is equivalent to 3 to 0. Go ahead.
it's a lot better than the semicolon shopping centre because it just kind of stops and then has the weird shape.
That is how it goes. I give you these. Look at it with square. Zip.
Okay.
Or X if you're playing on the Xbox.
All right, we gotta get going.
I want to talk some more.
I got no time for talking.
You actually, okay, what I'm gonna do is you actually can get some more information by talking to him, so let's do that. The culprit is not Galbadia.
Oh. Well, of course. I mean, Galbadia has pretty much been defeated.
What do you want?
Your mom. Oh.
About Lunatic Pandora. Ah, so now you want to know. You know that monsters come falling from the moon, and I'm just dropping this plot point on you casually.
Right in the middle of this tree, you get to know that monsters in this world come from the moon.
Yes.
Pretty much.
And before you ask, no, the game will not in any way explore this concept or even properly explain how this works, really.
You know, I always have to laugh when any sort of story just randomly drops an incredibly huge plot point and the story doesn't act like that's a dramatic thing because,
And,
it's actually important.
And again, it's not even a thing that it's done by Astor or Galbadia currently. Like you mentioned, the Lunatic Pandora, which is like a conduit for these... for the monsters to arrive on the planet, is a relic from one of the older civilizations of the world, but it's just kind of told like this.
Not just that,
The plan is for our heroes to actually board the Lunatic Pandora and storm it before it passes over completely the city. It's right there.
There it is.
Oh man, I can see everyone's house from here. Let's crash it.
It also, the way Dr. Odine mentioned it, by the way, you know that there are, he literally kind of just did a as you know thing, which again shows that this game also has a similar problem to the first Final Fantasy XIII. there's not really a character in this cast who's really an audience proxy for the audience. Really, everybody already has at the very least, a basic knowledge, a very somewhat good knowledge of how the world works. So there's not really a character that the writers can use to be the one that always asks questions. You know.
Well, I mean, they should have a good idea. They live in it.
Well, I know, Dwebs, but again, storytelling 101. When you have a character, when you have this, weird world full of weird concepts that are unlike the real world, it helps to have a fish out of water character that...
You have an excuse for having lots of exposition towards elements of it.
So what, you had to stand there for 4 minutes?
Pretty much. There it is.
Oh, man.
Not just that, it basically proves once again that the plot is essentially half finished.
This is another thing, Jova, to continue on from what we were saying in the previous part, Jova. This also shows how much of a good pupil Toriyama is, because he really learned from his mentor's shenanigans, really.
Toriyama involved in this game?
No.
Actually, wasn't he an event designer like he was for 7?
It shouldn't be, but let me double check just to be sure.
Okay, so it's weird here. Toriyama, I would say, has lower lows than Kitase, but I'd say he's also had higher highs than Kitase as well. It's weird, ain't it?
Let me check. This is gameplay stuff. So.
Like, if you're talking again about Revenant Wings, Jova, I'll take Final Fantasy V over it, which is the major game that he doesn't work on before this.
Oh, you're right, Edge. Apparently, according to Wikipedia, he didn't work on 8,
The next game we worked on was 10 as director of engineer writer, along with Nojima and Daisuke Watanabe.
So, Theo, in your opinion, which do you prefer, Kitase or Toriyama?
I'm gonna go with Kitase, I guess, but that's literally just pick your poison situation. It's not a choice, but they do just because
that's the thing. That's the thing, Joe. It's kind of hard because now, after everything that we know, and after all this time, it's becoming pretty obvious right now that 6 and 7 were great, not so much because of Kitase, but in spite of him, because he had Ito and Sakaguchi there.
Did he come up with some of the good ideas for 6 at least?
He did. No, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say that he didn't bring anything good, period. It's just that the moment he became in charge, not like he was of things, that's when things started becoming problematic. So
there you go. Now you're back in that section where Laguna and the Kirosen Ward were in the second flashback. We just want to mention that if you did your homework back then, you would be able to find some items. But like I said, it's nothing too important, so don't worry if you miss out on these.
Let me put it this way, Jova. Go ahead.
It's interesting you mentioned that, Pedro, because sometimes with certain people, if they start having
full creative control,
their name.
Oh, okay.
Or if they start having products that people don't consider good, for some reason people will just decide, oh, that guy never made anything good at all. And
okay, this I remember this.
Well, no time to be pondering. Let's do it.
Well, Dwebs, it becomes hard to tell. No, I'm not saying that in itself cannot be a possibility. There are cases of filmmakers or game developers who may have not have been very good, but had a talented team that was able to cancel out that.
Yay!
Yeah. Guess what? This raiding on the Lunatic Pandora was completely pointless because immediately ran off into this Guardian robot that yates you out of the premise.
So basically, what you're telling me is that the game was just wasting my time. Thanks, game.
And there you go. Now it goes to position onto Tears Point, the other place that Oda mentioned, which means that everything is ready for the next Lunar Cry, the thing that will rain down the monsters on the planet.
Hey, Jova.
Joy, anyway, you were saying, Pedro?
Here's another thing that Toriyama learned from his mentor. Wasting people's time. Yeah.
Gotta be honest, this is again when I was in my first run of this game, this was one of the points where the game was starting to hook me up a bit because something interesting was kind of happening for a change.
I guess
But-
we better fall back for that.
Again, it's not gonna last. Don't worry.
Not really. The lunar
But
cry.
not only that, but once again, this is another occasion where the game presents a plan, a battle plan, which is really cool on paper, but then you get to the execution and it kind of falls flat on its face.
Yep.
Like,
Kind of sums
Kinda
up quite a
sad.
few. I kind of sums up quite a few Final Fantasy directors' work.
Yeah. I'll just say this, it's weird for me. Don't get me wrong, Toriyama has...
Space! Yes, Uematsu wants to be whimsical for this moment. I wonder if he wanted to reference the early sequences of 2001
Well,
Space
like
Odyssey.
like you yourself said, remember, Uematsu composes according to what Kitase wants from the music. So of course, there's also going to be that element of maybe Kitase doesn't work as well with Uematsu as Sakaguchi does.
Or who directed 9?
Hiroyuki Ito.
Wait,
or him.
I thought Sakaguchi was the main guy behind
No,
that
he was the
of mine.
producer and the writer, but he didn't direct it.
He didn't direct it. He stopped directing after 5, basically. Because
I guess to be fair.
at the time he was also a vice. He got to the point where he even got promoted to vice president of the company as a whole. So he didn't have as much time to dedicate to a game as he once had, basically. Anyway,
And then he would later go on to make Blue Dragon. Damn.
Well,
that's
first
some big
piece
fall.
within.
Yeah.
Priorities for the company.
then we'd better station them all the more. Controller
Anyway.
A. That's right. My name is Controller A. Capsule recovery team. Initiate recovery process. Security. Good to say. By the way, did you see my friend Controller B?
Hey, it's still better than Mean Guy. Come on.
I don't know, too. Mean Guy is awesome. I still.
The man
for the
in the
vote of
spacesuit is my
confidence.
favorite character.
Why
I
do you
demand
always-
a Mean Guy side novel. God damn it.
Whatever. I'm gonna check up on Adele. The rest of you go get the rest up.
Yes, sir. Oh, there you go. Go ahead, Dwebs. You can be Controller B. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Controller A and Controller B. Could you imagine, Shiroi, if baptizing your, or rather naming your,
symbol.
could you? I can imagine a priest, just to make a common joke, baptizing someone like this. This child will be called Controller. Wait, really?
And yeah, so the projectiles that are shoot from the planet are essentially cushioned with these force fields. Now, gotta be honest, as a space way to actually travel through space, it's kind of unique and creative. So I will give the game, that in terms of creativity. Just that it's sadly a bit too little and too late.
Guys, it's the giant space station from Spirits Within.
I wish I could say no, Jova, but it really does. Looks like.
Oh.
Well, remember too. It was done by Square Visual Works, the same people who also went on to do the animation for the
I
movie.
know, I know.
See, it's totally a Final Fantasy story, guys.
Jova, let me tell you how much of a Final Fantasy story is by summing it up.
It's not.
It's never. It has never. It's like the Final Fantasy theme, but has never been referenced in any crossover of any capacity, in any kind.
Which is ironic.
Not even a passing mention or something.
It's ironic because that was supposedly going to be the thing that revolutionized the film industry.
Akira also supposed to appear in so many gajillion shit, but whatever. It's a topic for another time because the party with Rinoa has arrived on the station.
Welcome to Rotation Ring Unit.
By the way, Squall, I hope you enjoyed your bones because according to recent studies, being in 0G for prolonged exposure means that your bones kind of go boom.
Well,
okay, this is the future. We solved that.
By the way, the controls in this bit are quite awkward because you have to they changed up the inversion of the controls to make up for the fact that it's on its side. It's annoying. Go ahead.
Here's the letter from Adea.
Wow, what is she? 17, 18? Is she that he's talking about Renoa?
Yeah.
The character is.
Why is that important?
Don't touch her.
Don't touch Don't touch her. Only I get to touch her.
Don't touch her, motherfucker.
You're not even together. Shut up, Squall.
I understand the situation. Let's get her to the med lab and we'll talk there.
Yeah, wait. So basically, Admiral Piet survived the Death Star explosion and is now here.
Please follow me.
Yes.
Also, Quistis, where are you looking at?
The wall.
Oh my god, Quistis caught Selfie's illness.
Anyway, going back to what you were saying earlier about you know.
Well,
Huh?
didn't I finish last time? I was talking about how Toriyama learned his lessons well from his mentor. That's what I meant. Was I mentioning something else?
I think it was regarding Toriyama.
Well,
yeah.
I finished that. Didn't I?
Well, no. It's back to what I was actually talking about regarding Toriyama. It's like, don't get me wrong. I get it. That Toriyama's technically made the worst of stuff. Yeah, I feel like Toriyama in some ways has surpassed Kitase in actually being able to make good stuff like that. Okay, let me put it like this. Kitase is the source of a lot of negativity here. Toriyama feels like the product who can very well rise above that, but
honestly, Jova
still has his misgivings.
Honestly, Jova, I see both of them on equal terms because it's been proven that they can do good if they're on a leash, as proven by Kitase in 6 and 7, and as proven in the 7 remake. With how the only thing he did in 7 was directing the cutscenes, and the cutscenes are very well directed. He was there. He was just, he was just given instructions, and he was under instructions by Nomura as the general director anyway. So when he's on a leash, he's fine. But Kitase is the same thing. Again, these guys are. It's like these guys are close to the hip. Jesus.
I guess when it comes to Kitase, I guess I've just seen him more negatively because Kitase tends to have more authority.
Well, yeah, that's the problem. Go ahead, Shiro, if you don't mind.
Hang on a second.
Don't worry.
It's her adult form now, so you can use your older woman voice.
Sure.
Well, she's been using it for, her normal voice in general, so.
Oh, remember, last part she used the Pearl voice.
That's why she was a child.
No, remember, sure, that was the past. We were watching the Laguna flashbacks, remember?
Yeah, but that's what Joe was talking about.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. Well, whatever. She's
alright.
It's whatever. She's just saying she's sorry. Whatever.
I understand. I understand what you were trying to do every time you caused us to collapse.
No, I don't understand, Squall.
Were we of any help?
Go ahead.
Of course. You were my eyes, and
so I could
Candy, because the song is called "Eyes on Me."
Okay, to be fair, Theo, it may not necessarily be a reference to that. It may just be,
that's the thing. The game, if you pay attention, the game script has all of these kind of subtle puns, not puns, but subtle references towards.
Go ahead, Shiro.
Please. Sorry.
Thanks to you guys, I was able to see how much I was loved.
Well,
didn't know that already.
So basically, you put us through all this crap just so you can make yourself feel better.
Okay, now I would say
there aren't any therapists here, but yeah, go ahead, Jova.
I would say this. To be fair, as far as she knew, they all forgot her because, well, they kind of did forget her, except for Irvine. Even though, again, she sort of called out to Squall and Quistis around the time during that boss fight in the garden.
Oh, I couldn't change the past, but just seeing it was more than enough.
Again, all this crap with Laguna flashback possession thing was all a waste of time, and even the game admits it.
Well, Pedro, like you said, technically it is build up for when you know.
I know, Jova, but you could have just shown that normally. You didn't have to have Squall be thrown into the body of. You know what? This is just like Wonder Woman 1984.
I agree, Jova. I agree with Pedro and Jova, but only in a sense that the game could have had easily more elegant ways to show that to the player, like
pretty much
watching a videotape or something.
Oh, that I definitely agree with. Like, heck, do something like what happened with Zack's flashback in 7. You know.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Not just okay. The basic point. Let me put it this way, Jova. They could have just cut to it and have some kind of balloon saying sometime years ago, blah 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 blah, something like that. I would prefer that over suddenly the characters faint and they're in the bodies of these people.
Okay, now to be fair, I get it. They want to tie it properly to the present narrative. However, that could have easily been assuaged by saying, "Oh, Ellone tells us about this or that." Maybe this could have been solved better if the characters just remembered each other from the get-go and then fought back to this time or that time. Or hey, just say that Ellone has these mystical abilities and she's going to have them relive this because, I don't know, it'll help them solve something in the plot here. I mean,
It's
sure,
contrivance, Jova, pure and simple.
It's a case where Kitase is going out of his way to make this plot point or this plot line unnecessarily complicated. He's going out of his way to overcomplicate things, much like in Wonder Woman 1984, where instead of just having Steve be brought on magically, let's create this weird concept where he's in the body of this person for whatever reason. Like,
it's a similar issue to Last of Us 2. It tries to come off as deep of an ocean, but in reality, it is as shallow as a puddle.
exactly. All right.
On regards to your point earlier about the strengths and weaknesses of Final Fantasy directors, having played the 7 remake, which features all 3 of, the 2 you mentioned as well as the more, I can definitely see the strengths and the weaknesses from that game. The strengths are that they do put in a lot of effort into what they're doing, and they want to make sure it's as polished as possible and very show-offy.
Well, Square Enix has always been like that.
Hang on.
Go ahead.
The cons, however, are that they put so much emphasis on that. It's like J.J. Abrams. They focus so much on one thing that the other bit just kind of the other important stuff just kind of feels like an afterthought.
Anyway,
It is the thing with Square here, and let's not forget their fetish for overcomplicated dialogue. And look, that's a thing even in their good games. They always love to try and
hold on. Let me
players into
interrupt you because this is actually important. Basically, basically, Squall asked her, "Please send me into the past so I can save Renoa," and she says, "Squall, I can't. I don't know Renoa. Why? Remember, she can only send people into the past of people." Into the bodies of people that she once knew. Again, the most specific form of
in the orphanage.
Again, the most specific form of time travel I've ever seen.
Okay, to be fair,
Props
I guess
for creativity, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. To be fair,
Maybe
like
it's so specific that you can't actually screw it up.
well, okay,
And hey, you guys, one of your guys' big problems with most time travel stories is that they don't have set rules.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with this.
Yeah.
At least the time travel here is very consistent, so I will not fault the game on that.
Oh, I get.
Stupid. We can't fault it.
You gotta love. You gotta love that paradox. One of the few times where a time travel plot isn't actually,
And the plot is still
game
shit.
breaking. The problem is
mostly-
it's not the best plot to
That's
attach it to.
that's the thing, Jova. The problem is that it's the opposite extreme. There's way too many specific regulations about it. Like you don't have to pick either too much rules or no rules. There can be a middle ground between these two extremes.
I'm gonna agree with you that honestly, I will take this case at the very least so that it doesn't make it so that Ellone's time traveling powers could be that broken.
Considering everything we've seen in the game, it could have been so easily fucked up.
Oh no, definitely. I'm not like making some kind of big deal about this. It's just that again, it would help if at the very least they would have actually elaborated a bit. And yes, I know that later with Teo they're gonna technically explain how she has them, but I still think we could have had a more elaborate backstory involving this to make it a bit more, just allow the player to properly absorb this via some kind of flashback or something, instead of just hand-waving it through a throwaway line, But anyway, everybody, tune in next time where, let's just say things are not going to go...
Get your tissues ready because the lunar cry is about to happen.
Yes. See ya, everybody.
See you then.
Yeah.
See ya.